Hey watercolor artists, welcome to the studio. It is a fabulous day to paint and an even more fabulous day to rediscover how to create depth and distance in your paintings. This is really hard for beginners, hard for intermediates, hard for students at all levels that I've taught, hard for myself. I'm going to take you on a vulnerability walk and show you a painting of mine that did not do well in showing distance and space, but it's still hanging in my front foyer, guys. So we're going to look at these 4 techniques that I'm going to show you are out there. They are not new. They are nothing revolutionary, but I want to show you how watercolor can use some of its own special properties and really pump up this distance and space. It's going to be awesome, guys. And in my own practice of doing a bunch of minis, I'm going to show you how we can create 3 miles of distance in 3 inches. We're gonna do this. We're gonna look at East Coast and West Coast nature scenes to kind of show us some good examples. And East Coast, West Coast, we could have a rap battle. Who knows? Pick your favorite East Coast and West Coast rapper, bring the background music, and let's take a look at these 4 techniques. Okay guys, for the first one, scale. This is really obvious and we know this as humans and just living and being around, but it's not as intuitive when you're painting. But here's what you're gonna do. Make your things in the front larger and make your things in the back smaller. That sounds so easy, but it's not always easy to remember. So like this little bear is obviously a lot smaller. For our West Coast, Southern California scene, the poppies here are a lot bigger in scale than the ones in the mid distance. And then same thing with rocks and everything else. And you guys, trees, that's a big area with landscapes to show smaller. It's intuitive. You guys are gonna do that. If you're following any reference picture, you're gonna do it. But sometimes if this is a little bit off, it can really throw off your entire painting. So just be sure to check that scale. Be sure it's looking like the flowers here are not, you don't have mid-ground flowers that are the same size as the foreground. That's easy, but you guys can do it. Here's another example I did. This is actually a collage, was so cool, guys. This is from a national park visit to Zion. This is actually sand from the park. Are you kidding? Amazing. But anyway, this is like a sculptural tree stump, and you can see that the stuff in the back I put a lot smaller in scale, and it makes that pop forward a lot more, obviously. Right, guys, secondly is details. You are gonna find a lot more detail in the things closer to you. These are just blobs, and then detail in the front. Same with, you can see on these birch trees, just the lines hinting, shadows of lines, and here you're seeing the little birch detail. So that is a huge hint. Now in watercolor, this is for any kind of art media, but for watercolor, one of the coolest things we have, guys, is the idea of hard and soft edges. And we have that in others, but in watercolor, you can create that by blending water first, doing some things on the paper that create your hard and soft edges. Hard is going to be wet on dry, and soft is going to be using a blended little gradation, wet on wet, or applying your paint to wet paper. Let's see it in use in a couple of places in this painting, and then also in this one. You guys are going to be able to see how to do it really quick, and look at the difference. And that just makes that foreground pop forward so much more pronounced. Let's take a look. Okay guys, value dark to light. We want our darkest values towards the front. There are going to be some dark things that can be in the midground and stuff too, but you don't want these same tones in the back. So I don't have this darkest green anywhere else but in the front. This is green, like mossy, the grassy top of this bank, but it is not going to be that dark. So that's going to make that pop forward for you. Same thing in any of these. You want your darkest values to be closest to us and your lightest to make it more atmospheric and in the back. Okay, fourth, guys, is temperature of your color. This one may not be as obvious to you unless you've gotten into art before, but if you include blue tones, cool tones it makes things recede more than warm. That kind of makes sense. Going back in cooler, warm, popping forward, action. So I took a little more yellow and washed it into my greens here than I did here. I made them a little bit more blue yellow. And this one I have a little bit, instead of just a brownish gray, it has a little blue tint with a Payne's gray. You can see that in here. I'll show you that too. I washed in a little bit of yellow into these trees and a little bit of blue into here, and it just makes recede and come forward. So that's a really cool trick, just using temperature. Hey guys, field trip. I feel like Mr. Rogers, but we're going on a field trip to see this painting. You're gonna tell me the 2 things that you think that I did successfully and 2 things that I didn't. But first, I wanted to introduce you to Maya the Monstera. Are you kidding me? This is 3 years old, and I kill absolutely everything I've ever tried to grow plant-wise, but look at this. We've got like 24-inch leaves, so for sure we're gonna do a tutorial on Maya. But let's take a look at this painting. Let's be fair to me. I had guests coming the next day, so I started this painting at like midnight the night before. I was like, we don't have anything right here. I just need a couple paintings right here. This is acrylic. Let me do this. It's midnight. So this happened between like midnight and 1. So these are 1-hour paintings. But let's take a look why they're not the best. Okay guys, here it is. Let's take a look at all 4 things. Remember, we're talking about scale, size, details, color temperature, and color value. I'm gonna go ahead and say 2 went pretty well and 2 weren't as good. So what do you guys think? Okay, let's look at first details. Details in the front. We've got even some spikes in the cacti in the front, nothing in the back. I'm gonna call that a win. The size, definitely large cactus in the front and not much back here. I'm gonna call that a win. Now, value. This green value and this value, remember that's light to dark, is very similar, so that does nothing to pop that back into the distance. That is not a win. But let's go to number 4. So we said color temperature. There's not much doing that either. I do have some yellows in the front of the green, which is nice, but it's really not, there's nothing that's really calling out this is receding and this is popping forward. So all in all, but guys, I was in a phase here. I told you I was doing this at midnight. I like the cool colors, a little abstract. I'm putting DoorDash, Amazon, anyone coming over, guests, you're gonna get this. You come right in the house and this becomes an immediate painting lesson. So it's staying. Hi guys, I hope you got something out of those 4 techniques. I'd love to see what you do with them. I will have a place for you to post in my community section of Art Mojo, so you can go there and post. I want to see what you do. We have some cool upcoming tutorials. We're gonna have the Big Sur Southern California coastal scene up next week. If you like this small journal, I have a how to make your own watercolor leather bound journal and a bunch of really fun things. I'm gonna try to do a lot of things on location and just get out of the house because we all need that. So like and subscribe. I can't wait to have you as part of the Mojo group, and let me know how it's going. Bye guys, see you in the next tutorial.